So if you're wanting to macro inside of Fisch, this will allow you to both AFK infinitely and do all of the good stuff. So we're going to be using the macro that'll be linked on my website in the description. Once again, this is the current only option, but as a quick side note, don't go just yet. We are so close to finally launching the official ExoPanda macro software. This is going to be the best macro for all of Roblox, and we're going to have numerous macros built into this. Yet alongside this, we're also going to have a Fisch macro. So if you're wanting to be one of the first people to get your hands on this, make sure you join the Discord server, because once we launch, we're going to do a beta launch to only the people in the Discord server, and this will be, once again, just a beta launch. But if you want to be one of the OGs, you'll even get a title for that. Make sure you join the Discord server. It'll be ExoPanda, linked in the description. Okay, so first things first, we're going to be heading on down into the description where you can grab the link to the Fisch macro page. So it's going to be this one right here. So obviously a bunch of useless information, pretty much just to lengthen up the website. You don't really have to care about any of this. Now, the first thing we're going to do is grabbing auto hotkey. So let this just verify you're a human. I don't really get the need for this. So the first thing you're going to do on this website is we're just going to click download. Now, my peanut brain can't remember directly which one we're going to get, but I believe it is the V1.1 deprecated, if I can recall correctly, which I probably can't. So once this downloads, you're just going to run this. This is completely safe, trusted, and everything, right? So you don't need to, like, you know, set up like any sketchy thing. Use this exact link from the description so you don't, you know, download a fake one. And then you're just going to click install as additional version, since I believe I already have this, and then install it, and then you're going to run it. But now that that is installed, I don't believe you actually have to use it, but this is just going to make it so that the AHK files we actually do download are going to work, but the Fisch macro one specifically. So you're going to come down to download a Fisch macro V11. We're going to grab this one. So over on this bin right here, I kind of clicked the wrong button. I need to fix that on my website, my bad. We're going to be using the V11 version right here. So you're just going to quickly download this. This is just an AHK file with a bunch of code, but since we actually have auto hotkey, we'll be able to use this code as an actual application. So what you're going to do is first you need to check the settings. So the very first thing you're going to have to do is go into your display settings to make sure it is correctly on the correct visual output, because once again, this only works in 1920 by 1080, and I'll be showing you how to change that. So simply by either searching display settings or anything like that, you can pull up the display settings, and then you're going to come down, big flex, I have 3 monitors, you know, why not? So you're going to come on down and you're going to look at this. So the first thing you want to do is make sure your scale is set to 100%. This should be the recommended. You don't want to make it anything besides that. And then the next thing is going to be setting your display resolution to 1920 by 1080. So I remember on my previous monitor, this was actually like double this. So I had to scale it down, and then that messed up a bunch of crap, but it allowed it to work. And you can easily revert this. Don't bother worrying about it. You can just literally come back in here and change it. So you'll click 1920 by 1080, save it. It'll like auto change back, I believe, if you don't save it. I'm going to quickly claim that. But once again, just simply do that. Now, the next thing is we're going to open up the auto hotkey. Actually, no, you want to do a few previous things, because it can be a bit of a tedious task if you don't have everything fully set up. So quickly go into menu, make sure you have higher brightness and higher saturation. And if you do, like, my character's white hair is not really recommended for this to work at its best ability, but it works better whenever, because it color reads. So what it'll do is it'll read the color. And so say if it's looking for the shake button, which is, you know, white, it'll mess up whenever it sees my white hair, and sometimes, right? So usually this won't really be a problem, but you know, it's just one thing to note, it could be. So once again, make sure you have this things, and you can also, I believe, performance mode. I like not having it enabled because, you know, this looks really nice. Yeah, it's also really bright. But we're going to do that if you just want to further improve that. Now, the next thing is you're going to come on over into your settings, and you want to make sure that you do, let's say, come down. You want to make sure that UI navigation is on. So this is actually very simple. You can just click / to turn it on. Also, as another note, whenever you're fishing, this isn't even in regards to the macro. When you're fishing normally, let's say you cast, right? If you have the UI navigation on, you can just spam click enter, and it'll like auto claim all that stuff. It's actually really funny. I'll show you real quick. So say I'm using this rod, right? And then no bait. Whenever I go, you can just click enter, and it'll always be on shake. That's just a little thing to note, you know, a fun little observation. If you didn't know, you can do that in Fisch. Yeah. So what we're going to be doing is making sure of first few things. So we're going to open up the file, and it should look something like this. Also, credit to Asphalt Cake for creating this. This is really good, but ours is going to be even better. So make sure you join the Discord server, ExoPanda, linked in the description. So there are a few things as you can quickly note. So P to start, O to reload, and M to exit. There is no stop button, which is pretty much what the reload button is. So whenever it's going, you're just going to quickly click O. Also, another thing to note is I do believe this is actually an error some people can have, but the navigation is going to be a hashtag instead of a / flash, which if you don't know why this can be frustrating, it makes sense because this pretty much just doesn't work. So the other thing to note is there is, I believe, a blog post on this in the official this Roblox like wiki. So I should hopefully have that linked in the description if you also want to go check that out. But that is in regards to that problem. And so if you want to check that out, if that is the case for you, if you have that set that hashtag for some reason. Now, another thing to note is you can actually go into the code and change this yourself. So what you can do is on the file, this is on my other monitor. Instead of opening it, you're going to open with, and you're going to click Notepad. Now, this is what the code looks like. So what you're going to do is you're going to find where it selects what navigation is you're using. So set this to your navigation. You can select this to actually be the hashtag if this is the case, and that is, you know, the thing you have. Once again, that's only if that's the issue, but obviously if not, you don't have to do anything for that, but you know, you can do that if that is the issue. And then once you reload it, it'll change navigation key to that. So once again, now for the setup, you're going to quickly just walk up to the body of water. You're going to look down, and then pretty much you're just going to click P. Now what it's going to do is it's going to come up here and click this, because this will unrender UI. It'll lower your graphics using a keybind, because the graphics, the literal Roblox graphics, it'll lower that by default, just to make it, you know, have to look at less details whenever it's fishing. You're just going to look down, click P. As you see, it lowers graphics. It'll zoom in, and then it will cast your rod, and then it'll go through the shake, and then it'll start catching the fish. So it's pretty much really impressive how well made this is. So once again, click O to reload it, because you know the pause button doesn't exist. Menu is probably going to be open, which I don't get why, but once again, that is going to be linked in the description. You can AFK this like just indefinitely. I've gotten a lot of pretty neat stuff AFKing, and if you do have a good enough rod, you can actually AFK this and catch, you know, pretty decent stuff. Obviously, if you do have any questions, make sure to leave a comment down below. I'll make sure to answer to them. And as a quick note, I'm giving away this Nessie right here. So if you want to enter into the Nessie giveaway, just comment your Roblox username down below and leave a like. Once again, leave a like and comment your username down below to enter into the Nessie giveaway. But that's pretty much it for the video. If this helped you out, make sure to leave a like. You know, many likes